Hello everyone, I'd like to talk to you about the difference quotient today. I'd like to give you a visual representation of what is occurring. So we'd like to sketch out a general f of x function. Let's label this as f of x, and we're going to pick a value of x here. So then we'll trace this up to get to this point, and notice we have x and then also the y value that's associated with x, which is f of x. So you get this point here, which is x comma f of x, and then we want to make h jumps to the right. So we're at x and we jump 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 all the way up to h to the right, and that makes us land at x plus h, right? However many jumps that you make. Right, so if we trace this up until we hit the curve, right, then we should be able to find the y value that is associated with x plus h, right? So this could be labeled as f of x plus h. Okay, so now we have this point also, which is x plus h, and the y value associated with x plus h. Okay, so our entire goal is to find the slope of the secant line through these 2 points. So you remember from high school, if you have 2 points and you're trying to find the secant line, it's just a matter of connecting the dots, right, and extending the line. So this is what's called a secant line. Okay, also from high school, in order to find the slope of a line through 2 given points, you simply just take y2 minus y1, or your change in y, and divide it by x2 minus x1. So I'll label this last one as y2, and over here f of x, that's what I'm going to label as y1, and then x plus h will be labeled as x2, and x will be x1. So now all I'm going to do is just put these points in as is appropriate. Notice where y2 is, now I can label that as f of x plus h. And I'm going to subtract off my y1, which is f of x. And then I'll divide that by my x2, which you see is x plus h. And my x1 over here is just x. Right, so we've come up with a more abstract formula for the slope of the secant line since we don't have specified points. A more mathy way of describing this fancy formula that you see here is the difference quotient. Difference quotient. This is the slope of your secant line, which is this formula here, f of x plus h minus f of x divided by x plus h minus x. Okay, so let's tease this out just a little bit. Quotient means division, and difference means subtraction. Okay, so this means that we're taking the quotient, or the division, you can see it right there, you're dividing the quotient of differences. Okay, and you can see the differences occurring, right? y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. So that's why it's described as the difference quotient. It is the quotient of differences.